right. Well, here we are. It's another episode of All Good in the Brotherhood. Coming at you from the Benedict Project team here.
Yo.
We got myself, Tom Whitaker.
Nate Whitaker.
Little bro
I
Nate.
didn't know that was a cue for me to speak.
Yeah, that was a little cue. And then
Delay.
the birthday boy,
Yo,
Brother
hey,
Francisco.
sup?
You go to any restaurants today and have your birthday sung?
Well, I did go to a restaurant. I did not have my birthday sung, happy birthday sung there, but I did have happy birthday sung to me 3 times today, and I
Wow.
hate having happy birthday sung
I mean,
to me.
you didn't like
so-
it when your niece and nephew sent you a video
Okay,
of them?
that was precious. That was precious. I loved that.
Alright. It was precious.
It was. They were so cute. I loved them. for that.
Specifically Gemma. Phillips was less precious. It was 4-year-old
Yeah.
boy being
Gemma
silly.
was really trying. It was
Gemma was
so
just
cute.
sweet.
She
That
was
was
into
heartwarming.
it. It was so adorable.
Yes.
That, I guess 4 times then, because
There you go.
I'll count that. 3 cringy times, 1 that I truly loved.
There you go.
I did go out. Yes, Nate. I went out to a Mexican restaurant
Ooh,
nice.
Nice.
Sensational.
with Mr. Alex Steiner.
The Alex
The
Steiner.
man, the myth, the legend.
Idaho boy. Were any of the people that sang cringy happy birthday to you listeners of this show?
Yes.
Super awkward. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so, yeah.
Oh, she
hopefully
knows.
They're like not even a little bit offended.
Yeah.
They
Um,
know. They know. The response I
They
gave to them was very clear how much I did not like it.
That's okay. That also doesn't surprise me either.
Yeah, because
Um,
that's Sam. We don't really talk enough about Brother Francisco's personality on this podcast. We talk about all kinds of things, and his personality maybe shines through a little bit,
Yeah.
but he's actually just a jerk. So
Thank you.
we
Thank
should
you.
probably acknowledge that real quick.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
happy
we just-
birthday, jerk.
Yeah, happy birthday though.
Hey.
So yeah, it is Brother Francisco.
Even jerks need happy birthdays.
Yeah,
Well, and the thing is, a good happy birthday song will bring out the jerk in all of us.
that's
Yeah,
true.
because there's no good, well-sung birthday. Like, it's just not.
It's a stupid song.
It's a
The
poorly
melody is
designed
actually
tune.
pretty bad.
It is really fun though if you sing it or like hum it in like a minor key though. If you shift it all to a
Dark
minor
birthday. Happy
Yeah,
dark
it's like
birthday.
happy
Those
dark
are fun.
birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday. Yeah.
key.
Nate's played happy birthday in like a minor key on the piano. That's fun.
I
So
played Jingle Bells in a minor key too.
Yeah,
It's way
that's,
later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Switch into a
So,
minor. Love
yeah,
it.
that's. So I went out for ice cream in the afternoon. Had Mexican for dinner. So it was a good day. It was a good day.
Wow.
So
Ha-
Brother
got a-
Francisco,
Yes.
how do monks celebrate birthdays?
Oh
there
yeah.
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't.
So
Apparently
that's
they do. You had enchiladas and ice cream.
well. Okay, so that's how I celebrate my birthday.
Yeah.
Because ice
You
cream is a
live your
love
life like you're
language.
permanently a Make-A-Wish kid. You just get whatever you want.
That's insane.
Monks are sad. Exception, Brother Francisco. Monks don't do podcasts. Exception, Brother Francisco.
Francisco.
Monks don't get to go to Disneyland for free. Exception. So
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
you could probably
got
have LeBron James come to the monastery if you asked for it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so how do monks celebrate birthdays? Well, pretty much not at all. I mean, at best, we'll get like an acknowledgement. We do have, so in the refectory where we eat, there's a list. It's like in a picture frame that changes every month that has the list of people's birthdays that month, and then if it's their feast day that month.
I thought it was going a whole another direction. I thought it was like a hit list.
Oh no.
Who to schwack this month?
Oh, that would be great. But if
See.
yeah, so you know whose birthday it is, and then when I first was in the monastery, there actually was a custom to sing "Happy Birthday" at one of the meals, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, to the brother or sometimes brother. So I actually share a birthday with one of the monks here. We are 60 years apart, so he turned 88 today. And he is people joke that his theme song is "Forever Young" because he does not look like he's almost 90. I mean, the dude looks maybe 70.
That's crazy.
Very youthful. So
That's cool.
yeah, so that's kind of cool. So we share a birthday. So they would be a custom of singing happy birthdays, but about 2 or 3 years ago, they actually made a move to move away from that because they said it's like too secular of a thing.
Yeah.
Which is ironic. Like that's what we put up a stand about secularism in this community. But sorry, Father Abbott.
Shade just
Um,
thrown. Okay.
But if so, that and
Leave
rather
it.
we should focus on the celebration of the monk's patron and like their feast day,
Yes.
which I agree with, because like I took on Francisco, and not that my birthday changes, but the celebration of my monasticism is reflective of Francisco more than Sam. So to me, as a monk, February 20th, which is the feast of Francisco Marto, is a bigger deal to me, like on this level, than the monasteries would see April 10th. So
on February 20th, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, no, it did.
But now we know when to send him Legos.
Yep.
There you go. That'd be cool.
never.
So, but that being said, they still did sing happy birthday to me today because the older monks hate that has changed. Because that's how they've been for so long. And things were always one way, and then they aren't, and they don't like, we don't like change. There's two things humans hate: change and that things stay the same. So, they hated the change of it. So whenever it's like a monk, if the monk's like over 75, then they probably sing happy birthday to him. So Father Joe Gerg, who's the one who I share a birthday with, they sang happy birthday to him at breakfast. I didn't go to breakfast. So at lunch, he started happy birthday for me. And I was like, thanks, everyone. So yeah, that's what we do. Other than that, it's not really any kind of, except for if you hit 90, then you get a party.
Ooh.
So we actually, one of our monks just turned 90, so he got to pick his dinner, dessert, the like beverage of choice. So he picked steak. Like, let's freaking go, my God. Yeah, so we had steak, we had great sides, we had wine, ice cream, cake. It was great.
Was this during Lent still?
Yeah, it was like 5 days ago.
That sounds decadent, but
you should
awesome.
try to live to be 90 for that reason alone.
Yeah, just to get a steak,
Just to
to
get some
buy
ribs.
request steak.
Yeah.
Or ribs or something. Yep.
So yeah,
What would you
that's
pick
kind
in
of
that scenario.
what would I pick in that scenario?
Yeah, say you live to be 90. Say you luck out.
I would want
Is there a
like
chance
gourmet
that
burgers.
we'll by then?
I'd want-
switch his knees. He's gonna be.
You want what?
I want gourmet burgers
Mm,
with like bacon, like a burger bar, but with like really well cooked burgers.
okay.
Um,
Hard to go together.
and like I don't know, a side of whatever, maybe like onion rings or like seasoned fries, very American, and then beer. We always have wine at these things. I want beer,
Yeah.
Everyone-
imported German beer.
From that tube.
Oh, yeah, so true. I like that.
What?
No solid foods for this one.
Just put the burger and the fries and
In
the
the
beer
beer.
in a blender.
That's
Just-
actually fire.
Why not? Why
That's
not?
actually
Yeah,
a
I
fire.
wonder if that could work.
Call it a backyard smoothie, BBQ smoothie, or a
Well,
American. Yeah.
I wonder if it could work. Probably not, but I wonder.
What's
We might as well try.
Then have a good afternoon.
I mean, beers during like the olden days, medieval days, were like thick. They were malty. They were like
boy.
you're like drinking wheat. It was like wet wheat.
Yeah, monks used to go on beer fasts so that the only like calorie intake they had were beer.
Yeah.
I love that because some people go on beer fast, meaning
The other way around,
Don't
yeah.
take in during Lent is beer, but
Yeah.
I like that idea. Way
I'm
more.
doing that, and it's really sad. I like beer quite a bit.
Me too. I'm suffering. So I think next Lent, let's all do that
The
kind of
other-
beer fast.
So. We only drink beer.
That would be insane. You have to have like really, like hearty beer if you're going to be doing that.
Yep.
Or you just have like a great 4 days and then die.
It just
So how was your Lent? Well, great. We all became alcoholics by the end, but we had a great Lent.
We had to.
drank a lot of.
6-pack a day keeps the devil.
It's kind of. Dang. This is a pretty off the wall episode. I guess it's because it's 10 o'clock at night.
Not bad.
Oh, that's
Happy birthday.
that's early.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
Yeah.
It's not that. Yep. But
So any insights?
On
yeah,
what?
on what?
Anything? What were you about to
Yeah,
say?
I don't even remember what I was about to say.
Sorry.
Celebrations. Why do we celebrate? Okay, here's a question for you guys. What's the importance of celebrating a birthday anyways? Like why do we do it? The person has not accomplished anything in life. But Brother Bosco would like to say that we celebrate birthdays because it's the only day that we can celebrate you for without you having to do anything. Which I like that. But that's like a very counter, like at least like materialistic or capitalistic, achiever-driven society that we celebrate like achievement. If we should celebrate anyone for birthdays, it should be the mom for having to go through all that. So why do you think we even celebrate birthdays? What's the point of celebrating birthdays or celebrating those kind of anniversaries?
I was just gonna say, if you were still single, that would have been a big green flag quote right there. I think we should celebrate the mom. Like that's a massive green flag.
That's true. That's true.
Endeared yourself to the hearts of any female listeners, but
Yeah.
I actually don't have anything to say, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That is good. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I think the one thing is just it's kind of interesting that we're probably like Western civilizations and probably America makes a bigger deal of it than I bet most of the rest of the world does, and I only say that partially out of like I had two good buddies I worked with when I was working in like Asian foreign policy at one point, and they both talked about how in most of Asia, your birthday is actually considered like they just like walk 9 months back from your birthday, and then that's like from your when you pop out of the womb, and that's like your birthday. They like
conception day.
This is even like a lot of Asia is not like there's a lot of Asian countries that struggle with like abortion just like this country does, but they still see that as being like the beginning of your life. It's like when you conceive.
Shockingly
very,
scientific.
Very powerful because in this country we just generally speaking we don't consider that
denial.
That's crazy.
But I think that's a pretty cool.
That's your
thing.
life. Day.
Like like that's to me that's almost a more when you think about it. Even though it's like it's hard to nail it down to a T. Of which day and all that good stuff. But like,
we don't want to either. That's too many questions I'd rather not have answered.
I mean,
though I have, sadly, really sadly. But anyways,
in a healthy marriage,
in a healthy marriage,
harder to nail that down.
Oh yeah, haha. But like for more people, that's like not really relevant. So yeah, but I think that's like a bigger celebratory event of like that second. Maybe not again, because again, if you narrow it down to days, it's not necessarily that second, but like that point in time when you went from just like this thing that was always God always had a plan for that person to like and now you're here kind of like the it's not as significant as the word became flesh, but it's still like the soul that God wanted.
So a soul was created. There is a singular moment in which a soul is created.
Right. And so I think that's a more more worthy of celebration in many ways. Birthday is like I actually would agree, like a green flag comment or otherwise, like the hero of the day on the birthday is the mom.
Yeah.
Hands down. So
we didn't do crap, bro.
Yeah.
We just popped out.
Just caused a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Pain, torture,
still do.
Yeah, actually that's all we were good at during that phase of the Let's
go.
In fact, maybe you and me, Sam, especially caused some problems. I mean, I was a C-section, you were some other
that caused a seizure.
Caused a seizure.
Yeah.
I think I was big chilling comparatively.
Yeah, relatively speaking, you were good in that one moment of your life.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it pointless that we celebrate birthdays then?
Well, I think it's. Sorry.
See, it's funny because like what I will say, and maybe this is just the product of like our culture, but like now as a dad with kids, I think when like it's fun to just like be a little bit more like intentional to a child, like when a son or a daughter, about like this is the day that this is the anniversary of the first day I held you, the first day we held you in our arms and looked you in the eyes. And so like recognizing that as a parent, I think for parents like there's a different sense of why birthdays are special, because it is like a meaningful anniversary, just like you celebrate, an anniversary of when you got married and things like that. It's just it's the first day of a new chapter and a significant chapter in your life. But yeah, I mean, you get to a point where you're an adult, and people these days still like I think a lot of people our age still treat like your birthdays like I gotta go out and gotta go party and gotta have a party and gotta get the things, people gotta give me stuff, this.
It's a pretense.
Yeah, it's kind of just this expectation, and it's not. I don't really think that's that's just a materialist tradition. That's not a one based in any sort of real sense of like, oh, this is a meaningful day, and then again, it's not that commemorating that day for what occurred in it isn't like a bad thing. It's honestly more the trappings. I mean, you can say the same for Christmas in some ways. Is that Christmas
caught up in one way to celebrate
beautiful, commemoration of the the birth of our Lord, the Nativity, but we fill it with all these trappings of these other things of materialistic interests and
very true.
And it kind of even I mean, as somebody who loves Christmas,
Oh
it's
yeah, we all
an
do.
epic holiday, epic holy day, and but yeah, we just materialized it so much,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely, dude. Were you gonna say something or?
Well, I might be taking it a slightly different direction. So if you wanted to add anything to that, Nate, then go
No,
ahead.
I'll close it. Yeah.
No, I just thought it was a really good point, and I think it is worthwhile, not from a dad's perspective, but just in general, to have a day out of the year as a kid when you know you're going to be acknowledged. Like I think it's everybody deserves some day of the year where, in a very intentional way, they get some focus
Hmm.
and get some love. But yeah, it's too focused on superficial things. I think, especially the older you get. I think when you're a kid, it's super cool to just have a day of the year. Kids love looking forward to birthdays. At least I remember I always did. Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, yeah,
it's getting to the end of September. My birthday is going to be coming up pretty soon.
yeah.
But
Yeah, we're not trying to be fun mongers here.
no,
Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Or fun killers. Yeah. But once you get to be past 25, it's kind of cringe to just be yapping up about your birthday. It's a valid excuse to get together with friends because you should just strive for any opportunity to get together with friends. But
Hmm.
like you were saying, Tom, so you kind of use it as a pretense to just do debauched things or have a wild night out in the town. That's not really necessary. And there's a lot of other occasions that honestly I think are more important that deserve attention. So, yeah.
And to all that, I agree. I would respond, though, that even if you think that you've aged out of the time where it seems justifiable to have that kind of level of kid attention for your birthday, do you not still, even with all of that, know that when your birthday's coming, you're anticipating a little bit of something different. You're
100%.
anticipating people acknowledging you. You're anticipating some celebration, no matter how small. And what it has become with a lack of this understanding of like the value of the human person, um, is that people use all of these ways of having fun or throwing pleasure into it or doing something different with it. I think as the way to feed into that, like, I desire to be loved. This is a day that, like, it's even universally acceptable for me to be a little bit more selfish about asking that people love me or hoping that people see me or recognize that I exist. And if the only way I can make sure that people do that is to go and party with them or to say, these are the fun things we're doing, we have planned, or because people can't actually love each other with words and with expressions of feelings, the only way I can love you is to give you something, at least I'll do that. I can't, I don't know how to be your friend, but I can throw you $20. That makes me, that fulfills my obligation to say, well, I've thought about you, and hopefully you interpret that as, I'm loved or I'm received or whatever. I don't think we should ever grow out of that desire because it's natural within us to be
Right.
known and seen. A little kid is that's taken care of. But I don't think there's ever a moment where we transition and all of a sudden we're like walked through that place where, yeah, you're old enough now, you don't get to receive that like the way you did when you were a kid. And it's just kind of expected that we don't need it anymore. And we actually need it even more because we're getting it less.
And if
So
we're honest with ourselves, if your birthday came and went and nobody acknowledged it, you would be disappointed.
you'd be crushed
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
And I was just talking to a friend because I was like, it was a few days ago, and they mentioned like, "Oh, your birthday's coming up," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's whatever." And they said, "It's not whatever," and that like when people disqualify like that they want their birthday to be celebrated, it has nothing to do with uh, a humility or nothing to do with like, "Oh, my birthday's not that big of a deal." It's a defense mechanism, guarding yourself in anticipation of being let down. So I'll manage my expectations that no one's going to care. So then when someone does, oh, it's a surprise. But ultimately, I actually really need people to care. And then if they don't, then I'm proven right that no one gives a crap.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It is a very childlike instinct and desire. And I think you're right that children have that need to be seen and to be loved, but they're more open about it and they're more trusting that they will receive it and they don't feel any need to put up defense mechanisms or act like they don't want those things. Whereas when you get older, you still have those fundamental desires to be acknowledged and to be shown love, but we think to ourselves or convince ourselves that we need to convince other people that we don't need those things.
Hmm.
Partly, I think, as a defense mechanism because we're anticipating disappointment. But I
Yeah.
think there's a
Yep.
pressure when you reach adulthood where you say, maybe those desires that I have as a kid and that I still have even now, I have to act like I don't have them. I have to convince everybody else that I don't need any attention. I don't want any
Hmm.
acknowledgement. So, when someone brings up that my birthday's coming up, I have to say, no, it's no big deal because I don't want to let on in any way
Yeah.
that I'm actually excited that my birthday's coming up and I hope something good will happen.
Yeah. I just on I was just praying about like the relationship between fear and pride yesterday.
Hmm.
And actually was you can check out our Instagram page. If you have never been checked out our Instagram page, go to the Benedict Project on Instagram. I actually just like posted this today, but a lot of us live in this like dualistic like trap of being afraid of being alone and yet having the pride of not needing other people. Um, and it fluctuates back
We
and
feed
forth.
each other.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be alone, but I don't want other people to think that, so I don't need them. But when I push them away, then I'm alone, and then the cycle continues. Um, so Tom, I don't know. Yeah, did you have anything you're gonna throw in there?
No, it's just yeah. I know we talked a lot about this podcast about just the reality of vulnerability and how important that is to having like healthy relationships with others. And yeah, I think birthdays are probably because it's kind of like a caricature of like a significant event throughout the
Mm-hmm.
year. Like we kind of make a little bit of a joke of it, even
Hmm.
and probably part of making that light of it is because we feel vulnerable, and maybe there's a side of this too. Not only do we want to be known and loved and seen, but we actually don't think we deserve it,
Mm-hmm.
that we don't think we've earned it. And I can kind of say I felt like that at times in my adult life when people would kind of like, go a little extra mile on my birthday for,
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form. And
Right.
it's kind of like there's that voice of like, yes, I want this. Yes, I gotta kind of act like I don't really care because that's kind of like what a tough guy does, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But then also there's this part of it where it's like maybe I don't feel like I deserve this,
Yeah.
maybe
Yep.
maybe I don't feel like I am actually lovable or
Right.
am actually worth being seen.
Exactly.
So that's just another. I don't think I ever thought about birthdays in that sense. It's just another little example of how we have to learn to be okay with being vulnerable,
Mm.
being okay with being held, you know.
Yeah.
And because you're not being held, in a necessarily literal sense on your birthday, but you're being held in kind of like a form of others' attention,
Hmm.
and that can be uncomfortable for some people, probably because they're either starved from it or they feel like they don't deserve it. But
Yeah. No, 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 no. I was breathing. Sorry. I
yeah,
was taking in what you're saying.
Yeah.
so
No,
Yeah.
and that. Yeah, I agree. Which makes me like even more convicted because I've had so many people wish me happy birthday today. Just been
Yeah.
really like, I do feel very loved.
Yeah.
That I'm not great at that. There's like
Yeah.
maybe you guys and a couple of my really close friends I'll say happy birthday to, but otherwise I just don't like. I mean, some I don't know a lot of people's birthday, so I think that's
That's
legitimate.
fair.
But for even people, I'm like, oh wow, that was a couple days ago. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, that if you don't celebrate their birth, at least give them an affirmation. That's something that I can like. Honestly, I try to do that. Almost like celebrate everyone's day today as a birthday for them. Like what is a reason that I could celebrate you today? Um, so yeah, giving people affirmations. Um, I love intentional affirmations. Um, where I am at least I'm saying something about this person that they know I can't just say about other people generically either. So like an affirmation based on our experience as friends. Um, that which that can be some of the best birthday presents or just gifts we can give to people is affirming who you are based on what I know about our relationship or something I see that I can articulate only based on how I see it. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I just wanted to add in line with that. I think maybe part of why we feel reluctance about birthdays or almost some uneasiness about them is that there is an air of superficiality about it. I don't know if you ever felt this, but we all have those desires we've been talking about to be seen and acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
But even though we want that,
Mm. Yep.
we want it to come in a
Mm.
genuine way, and we want it to feel like something people are willing to offer throughout the whole year to kind of continually show that we deserve that in a good way. And yet, so there's something weird about, at least I've felt this when
Yeah.
maybe you guys experience is someone you don't really know that well, or they don't really ever acknowledge
And
you
don't
throughout the
talk to
rest of
you.
the year, but then it's your birthday, and so they're like, "Oh my gosh, happy birthday! I'm so excited for you." It feels very superficial, or
You
even if
don't
it's not
care.
that far, just a distant acquaintance, it might just be some good friends that throughout the rest of the year they don't show any particular affirmation or
Yeah.
kindness or encouragement,
Mm-hmm.
but then on your birthday they would feel like they need to go all out, and there's this feeling of, well, I really appreciate this, but why isn't this shown throughout the rest of the year? Or why? And partly that's on me because I do that too. I'm sure I've done that to plenty of friends in a bad way. But not only is why is this not throughout the rest of the year, but also why is it feel so superficial today? Like the only cool thing you can say to someone else, the only kind thing is happy birthday. We love you generically as a person instead of more throughout the year, more intentional affirmations like the kind you're talking about that
Yeah.
acknowledge a person's unique gifts or abilities or virtues. To happy birthday is kind of just a generic thing. You could
Yeah.
say, "We love you as a person. We're so happy for you. Have a great day." Like you could say it to anybody.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of like the Facebookification of happy birthday, where
Yep.
it's just like
Yeah,
there was a phase where it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, 5 birthdays today, okay, okay, happy birthday so and so, happy birthday so and so, happy birthday, and you just kind of reflexively do that,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's an authentic like happy birthday to like a close friend, and then maybe it's just like because you got reminded on a
Yep.
social media platform that so and so's birthday, and that's kind of like where yeah you can again and I think we grew up with this too at times. Whether it's like Father's Day, Mother's Day, or just those holidays where we're kind of like called to maybe give some special attention to somebody, and you kind of sometimes realize when you're writing that birthday card or that Mother's Day or that Father's Day card, you're like, you do kind of get hit pretty often with like, man, what if I just like every once in a while out of the blue did something
Just
like
did
this?
this. Yep.
Did it not on a Mother's Day, not on a Father's Day, not
yeah,
on a birthday. Took the time to write somebody a letter, like so it didn't feel like a check, like going through the motions. I mean, this is
yeah,
what prayer. This is like, why, our faith can't be constrained to just that 1 hour on a Sunday, or
Mm-hmm.
Christmas and Easter.
hmm
Like you can't, it can't be constrained to that one like act of devotion because
yeah,
otherwise it makes it feel like, for those people that are receiving that gift like it's disingenuous, like it's
hmm
not real. And certainly again with our faith, it can't just be those momentary when we find the time, when we have the opportunity. It needs to be holistic and more than just that
right,
isolated instance. So
Yeah. Yeah. I just was thinking of. I don't know. Dad. I feel like Dad might have said this once, but those that we love should never question that we do. Um, and like words of affirmation or being with them and being intentional. Yeah, more than just when it's convenient or when we're reminded by whatever holiday is in the store, um, or whatever notification we get. I mean, my phone will now, even if I text happy birthday to someone, it'll be like, reminder set now that this person's birthday is today. It's almost like take away your obligation to remember anything anymore. Um, and yeah, it's an act of love to remember particular things about people. Um, and if we truly say we love people, there shouldn't come a day where they question that. Um, and then there's so many ways we can express love. This is certainly one way. Celebrate a people. Yeah, and I'm not here like, oh my gosh, celebrate everything about everyone. I'm not, one of those like woke people who thinks that just like if you take 2 steps, you've accomplished the world. If you're two, you're one, yeah, 100%, right? But if you're 25, you should be able to walk out your door and do a functional human job and not be patted on the back every time you just submitted a report on time. But at the same time, maybe for you that day, getting out of bed was the thing that you needed celebrated because it was so hard to do. So,
100%. And to avoid any of this sounding overly mushy or feelings based,
hey,
we all
I'm the one you called a jerk, and you're saying, let's not get mushy here. I'm just saying, I'm not the only one.
what?
Sorry, never mind. You
I
called me.
respect.
Yeah, never mind. Um, sorry, now I'm only calling you a jerk. I'm also gaslighting you. See, I'm excellent. So, sensational. Let's just revel in that for a second. No, for fear of this sounding too mushy and emotional, and maybe guys listening saying, "Yeah, that sounds cute," but they don't want to go around sharing love with all my buddies all year round like we're a bunch of cute
Mm-hmm.
girls. You can do this, what we're talking about, in a very masculine way.
For sure. Yeah.
What we're talking about, affirmation sounds like sort of a soft term, but what we're talking about is just the virtue of encouragement and being encouraging
Yeah.
and acknowledging something in another guy, even if it's something that might seem superficial. Like, dude, yo, I know you've been hitting the gym lately, you've been putting in good work and being disciplined. I admire that. Good stuff. Just send him a text like that.
Yeah,
Or,
dude.
bro, I know you've been working hard to provide for your family. I'm proud of you. Just acknowledging that we can admire things in other people, that we see something respectable and worthwhile in another human being can really lift up their day and maybe their week because we are starved for encouragement in this day and age.
And even the simplest thing, and I've started doing this too, is just texting someone, "Hey, I was thinking about you today."
Yeah.
Like that's so basic.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of friends say like, "Wow, I really needed that." And it was literally just like I was like, "Huh." I was thinking about a conversation and it reminded me like, "Oh, that guy." And instead of like, "Oh, he's nice," or like, "He's a good friend of mine," just text him, "Just thinking about you today." That could be sometimes enough.
Yeah. Sure.
Let the Holy Spirit guide you and just play some affirmation roulette. Take your phone contacts,
like
scroll randomly, and just then tap the phone, whichever name you land on. If it's a buddy, text them.
Yeah, dude.
Thinking about
Share
you,
why
say
you're
a prayer
grateful.
for them and tell them that you've been praying for them.
Yeah.
And that could change someone's day dramatically because
Yeah.
you do not know what someone's going through. And even if they're not going through something dramatic, even if they're not at the end of their rope, so to speak, just that alone could lift them out of a spirit of mediocrity for the day, where they're just going through another day, walking their way through some work shift or something, and then they get reminded that no, they actually matter.
Yeah.
So I like that, bro. No, that's good. I think that's a good one. I like that idea too. Encouragement roulette. Like we got these phones. Let's every once in a while use it for good. Instead of doom scrolling, instead of being addicted to this, that, or the other social media platform or whatever news. Use it to like these things are branded, and even though I don't think they do the very good job of it of being connecting people and all these things, but like it really actually is. It's about starting how we use these tools.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Now we are getting back to being mushy. Yeah, like that. Play encouragement roulette.
Yeah. So that's our homework. I want to do that. And how about all you who are listening? Do it too.
Yep.
For the next week, just try it the week. One person a day. Just pull up your contacts, like give a big swipe, or just start scrolling, and then just stop. And a text affirmation is great. Also, just like call the person out of the blue. Yeah. That's way better. Yeah. Even if you just get their voicemail, leave them a message. I've started doing that with more people.
Hit *67 before you dial the number, so they can't tell who you are,
and then pretend to be somebody else.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Same.
This is President Trump. This President Trump.
You've done a huge job. You're
doing a great job.
You're great.
I'm Bill Bakar, al Baghdadi. He's dead. He died like a dog. Sorry. Impersonate President Trump. Or say you're some Nigerian prince.
Ooh.
And you're asking for just a little bit of money to help you out, help out your kingdom. You've been unrightfully deposed. And then after that, when they're about to hang up on you, you say, actually, I'm praying for you.
Yeah, dude. That would actually be funny. What a wild way to think. But yeah, dude. So do that. Well, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
We'll see what.
100%.
Drop a comment below if you're going to do it. We want to hear it. That'd be great.
Don't drop a comment. We'll assume you're super weird.
Yeah. There you go. Don't be lame. So we're going to wrap it up there because I think we might be derailing again. So thank you for joining us for another episode of All Good in the Brotherhood podcast. I'm Brother Francisco. Those two goons are my brothers.
Smash that subscribe button. Slam that like button. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Francisco.
Ringle that notification bell. I don't know. Jingle. I don't know.
Jingle that dingle.
Okay, well that's getting cut. Um,
That's crazy.
okay. Yeah, leave us a rating on Spotify or Apple. That way, add a rating adds to the algorithm. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful, God bless day. Throw out an encouragement to someone who needs it, and you are cared about and loved as well.